is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We have a steel body truck today, and I thought this one was quite interesting and can be kind of aggravating because I know how everyone hates to have lights on in their instrument cluster. If your airbag light is on in your 11 through 2016 steel body Super Duty, you might want to check this out and see if this applies to you. All right, let's check it out. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for checking us out. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe right here below. Tonight's truck is a 2015 long bed crew cab, and it's pretty clean. Good looking truck. Looks like the owner takes care of it. I like it. I like my steel bodies, and especially I like the ones with this dash. The 1112s, when they switched to 13, this was my favorite setup. So customer comes in, complains that his airbag light is on. Lo and behold, what is the first diagnostic step? It's verifying the customer concern, and yes, the airbag light is on. So I hook up the old IDS and run the on-demand self-tests in the restraints control module. These are the two codes that I have. Driver frontal stage 1 deployment control. We have it in the continuous memory as well. And battery voltage. I have the battery charger on it now, as you saw, because it was click, 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 click. So you guys remember me talking about the two different types of DTCs. Remember, it doesn't matter what module it is. It can be the RCM, PCM, TCM, GPCM. It doesn't matter. If we have any electrical circuit issues going on, those issues will be here in the on-demand section of the self-test. And when the DTCs are in continuous memory, that means that it happened at one point in time. The fault may be present right now, but there's not an electrical circuit problem. Like we could have lean codes, rich codes, misfire codes. Those DTCs are not going to show up in on-demand. You could have a misfire code and an on-demand coil driver circuit or injector circuit. So, you know, you'll differentiate between these two DTCs. But the very first thing we have to do is take care of our on-demand DTCs first. Those are the first diagnostic trouble codes that we have to look at, and it says driver frontal stage 1 deployment control. All right, well, what does that exactly mean? So I don't know if you guys are familiar. You can check out motorcraftservice.com. They have all the info that you can buy time that you can look up for each individual vehicle. I refer everybody to there because there's really no other substitute for the online publications that Ford has out for these vehicles. I wouldn't know what else to do if these weren't at my fingertips. The code we have is B0001. And we have a couple of them to choose from: 11, 12, 13, and 1A. So we have to go back to the self-test, and the end number is 13. That is our failure. So 13, driver frontal stage 1 deployment control circuit open. Circuit open. This happens when the RCM measures greater than desired resistance range between the driver's airbag stage 1 circuits. A fault is indicated. So here we are. Pinpoint test B, and tells us that we could have some of these things bad, but we're also going to be testing the RCM, driver's airbag, clock spring, wiring terminals, and or connectors. So pinpoint test B diagnoses all of these DTCs, and we're going to want to take caution when removing and making sure the SRS is fully disconnected and powered down before we start probing and disconnecting stuff. So first off, retrieve DTCs. Was DTC B0001 retrieved during the on-demand self-test? Okay, well, we can all confirm that that is correct. So to answer this question, yes, it says go to B2. Remove the lower steering column to access the clock spring connectors, which is going to be this right here. We've got a bunch of 5.5s holding those on. It says, while monitoring the deploy _00 RPID in the RCM, it says it wants us to carry out the harness test of the driver's airbag circuits and accessible connectors, including any inline connectors, by wiggling and flexing the wire harness connectors, tilting and rotating the steering wheel frequently. All right, so it wants to know if that PID is between 2.19 and 4.08 ohms while carrying out this harness test. Now, I am going to be using IDS, but I have confirmed you can use FORScan to monitor these PIDs. As long as you can talk to the RCM, you'll be able to actually see what we're going to be seeing here in just 1 second. So if we go back to IDS and we need to pull up the data logger, and we're going to be looking at the deploy RPID. There it is, 9.1510 ohms. Okay, what was the question that it asked? It wants to know if it's 2.19 to 4.08. Wow. So I'm going to say no. Let's go greater than 4.8 ohms. Let's just see what this is going to say. B8. So it's going to want us to power down, remove the airbag, disconnect the RCM, and going to want to do a bunch of stuff. Let's go back to this PID and let's pay a little closer attention to what this is doing. In fact, let me go ahead and change. I don't know if you guys know how to do this. I am going to change the PID display from this number to an actual graph so I can actually see it change. All right, so we have 0 and we have 655 ohms. We don't need the door open. All right, right now 8.55. All right, watch what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna gently turn the steering wheel. I barely even touched it. Look what it did. Watch the PID. 65. Okay, now I'm doing the same thing to the steering wheel. I'm doing this. Look at the graph. Look at the resistance that the RCM is seeing. This is all I'm doing right here. Barely moving the steering wheel. And look at the graph. All right, now I stopped. We'll let it chill out. You can see it's flatlining. All right, and watch this. I'm going to just barely touch the horn. Am I giving it chest compressions? I'm not even hitting it hard enough to hit the horn. Look what's going on. All right, let me hit the horn, see what happens. 8. All right, let me turn the steering wheel like 1/4 turn. Look, I just put my hand on top of the steering wheel. Watch when it happens. I'm just gonna rest and I'm gonna just have the weight of my arm on the steering wheel. Watch this. That's nuts. I am thinking 100%. You guys hear that? I am thinking we have something going on with this clock spring. Not steering column control module, clock spring. When you get a clock spring, you can get the clock spring by itself, but when you get a steering column control module, you have to get the clock spring with it. The steering column control module is not serviced separately. So that leads me to believe that I'm not going to have to perform any of these other tests. Are the resistance good from the RCM to the clock spring? We're going to hit yes, B10. What does it want us to do? Disconnect the RCM, depower the SRS. Is it okay? So it's a fuse jumper wire. It's going to check out the ability of the RCM to differentiate between having a fuse jumper between these two codes. It should give another DTC. B11 wants us to check the clock spring for an open. Clock spring disconnected. Okay, let's get to the spot where it says replace clock spring. RCM connector. RCM, confirm driver airbag fault, install new driver airbag, confirm clock spring fault. Well, definitely is not the airbag. Plus, we hear the clicking noise coming from the steering wheel. Well, from behind the steering wheel. There's something going on with that clock spring and its ability to transmit the right resistance readings for the driver's airbag, and I think we found what our problem is. So my question to you guys, if you have a 11 through 16 truck and you have an airbag on, we've covered several airbag concerns with these trucks. This one, I haven't done a clock spring yet for this particular concern. Let me know if this applies to you. I appreciate you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, sub, share, and I'll catch you next time with no lights on. All right, guys, we'll see you later.